Welcome back to the Tech Shack, to another low quality video. Now we have my personal workstation on the workbench today because we are going to recase it. Before I put this together, I was still rocking a Dell Precision workstation. Alright, but Jeffy came across this bundle on Facebook Marketplace. Basically, the seller's girlfriend was going to build him a new computer around her used Ryzen 2600X. She had just upgraded, but they broke up. And then the computer never got put together, and he just wanted to sell it and get rid of it. So we got it. Everything was new in box except for the CPU. We put it all together. That RAM kit's the only thing left from there. All right, I've since handed all the parts down to my other kids except for the RAM and this ugly case. So there's a 5800X3D, this 32 gigabyte kit. Yes, I know 4 sticks you usually don't hit XMP, but that's a 3200 kit we have running at 3600, completely mem test stable. So I hit the silicon lottery with that. And my 6750 XT I picked up most recently for this build, and my 5700 XT that wasn't here before is now in my 12-year-old daughter's computer because she has a 1440p ultra wide, and the RX 570 she had in there just wasn't cutting it anymore. So this case is the only thing that remains from that original bundle, other than the RAM, of course, but again, that's running pretty fast. And this case is absolutely terrible. Now, originally, these were actually all solid. I had to Dremel that out so you could get any sort of airflow. And I replaced the original acrylic side panel with the tempered glass one that's actually for the next model up case. It's not even for this case. All right, but enough talk. Let's get this guy apart, get it inside of its new case. I can't do like an over-the-top fast-forward build montage or anything because what I normally record that with in OBS is on the bench right now, about to get torn apart. So the only thing I got is the GoPro I'm filming in right now. All right, and then this is the case we are going in. It is going in. It's a DIY PC ATX08 wood grain case. All right, let's get it together.
Now, Jordo forgot to run through the specs, and due to SD card failure, we lost some of the case footage. Not like I warned him to replace it or anything. Not like I track, read, and write cycles for him. Dummy. Anyway, this case is absolutely a great value for the money. The glass side panel slots in the bottom and has the push-in pegs on the back that lock into the top. It includes 4 120mm fans that we pulled and put into spare inventory. Surprisingly, the case includes a manual, something more expensive. More complicated cases seem to be lacking. It includes the standard screw pack, motherboard, speaker, and SATA power adapter for the fans if needed. The power supply bay has ample space for the biggest thick old power supplies, and our large Merc Edition Radeon 6750 XT almost looks small in the case. Just keep in mind the larger cards will block you from using the side fan mounts for a 240mm radiator. This case has plenty of space for the most powerful components without taking up a large footprint. For drives, it has the single sled mount on the back panel for a single SATA SSD. In front of the power supply, it has mounts for 2 3.5-inch hard drives or 2.5-inch SATA SSDs. For front I/O, it has 2 USB 3 5 gigabit ports on a standard USB 3 header and a single USB Type-C 10 gigabit on a Type-C header. The ports being located on the side under the glass panel are great for desktop placement beside you, but not so much if it's going under the desk. For Jordo, it was a perfect fit.
Alright, so sorry for the lack of B-roll. Not only did we have SD card failure in this GoPro during the like unboxing and building phase, but the B-roll is usually shot with my Google Pixel. Unfortunately, that battery suffered a catastrophic failure, and the phone that I've been using temporarily until the end of the billing cycle and I order a new Pixel, the camera defaults to the lowest quality setting out of the box, and I didn't really play with it when I started taking pictures, and most of that footage and pictures are completely unusable. It is an absolutely terrible phone. Now, it's a Samsung, and I know I just bought like a cheap throwaway Samsung I could throw my Verizon SIM card in and use, because it actually died late at night on a Sunday, so the only thing open was Walmart, and the only thing they had was the Samsung Galaxy like A16 or whatever. So I know they have better phones, and I shouldn't judge the performance on that. I absolutely hate Samsung's like custom UI. I want the Google Android experience, so I wouldn't even buy a Samsung premium phone after this one, because I just hate Samsung's take on Android. But that's a different rant. This guy is all put together. I love this case. I know I say I love a lot of products on this channel, but I usually only buy or accept review samples from brands I know. The last time I did that, I accepted a no-name brand that didn't work out too well for me. So with that being said, this case is awesome. I've had it actually up and running for a few days now. It is deceptively large. Like height-wise, it's the same as the old hunk of junk case I had, but it's substantially longer and wider. So my graphics card fits, and as long as you're not worried about blocking those two fan or radiator slot right there, you can actually go further. The power supply, it'll take the biggest power supplies, because the drive bays don't start until here. So all this room, you could cram the biggest power supply you want in there. It holds at least 9 fans. All right, I have 3 in the front right now, and then the AIO fan, and it still moves plenty of air and is running nice and cool. Again, sorry for the lack of B-roll. Up top here, for AIOs, you have a lot of fan like hole offsetting, so not only could you run larger fans, but if you can't squeeze a thick AIO and fans in with your VRMs and motherboard, you can offset it to the side here and still fit a full 360 millimeter radiator on top. So for $75, I couldn't like find a better value case. Great build quality. Usually with this brand, the front I/O is usually lacking and pretty cheaply made. This front I/O is actually pretty rock solid. I've been using it for days, video editing, all sorts of stuff. I like having it right here, especially the audio jack for when I'm editing a video. Just absolutely great case. Again, this thing is like built like a TARDIS. It's bigger on the inside than it is on the out. Love it. Can't say that enough. And I have the RGB off, and that's because with this front, it's kind of feeling kind of elegant tonight. In fact, too elegant for Windows even. So this is not like a 30-day challenge video. I have fully switched to Ubuntu Studio on this machine. It's been running better than it has with Windows. If you want to see a dedicated video on my workflow and how I switched over, maybe I'll do one of those in the future, but this isn't a challenge. I am switched over. I have a workstation that feels like new, looks like new, but that is it for this low quality video. I will see you guys in the next one.